Liberalism explained. To understand liberalism, you need to understand three principles. The first is the Pareto principle. It was named after its founder, the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, back in 1895. He noticed that people in society seemed to divide naturally into what he calls the vital few, or the top 20% in terms of intelligence and integrity, and the trivial many, or the bottom 80%. To break this down into vulgar language, it means 80% of the population are losers. That doesn't mean they are bad people. They are just not very smart, not very creative, not very good looking, not very athletic, and not very motivated. Our society has lived with the 80% losers for thousands of years, and everyone generally got along, and it didn't matter too much how many losers there were, because the 20% were able to run a functioning society without relying on their input. But this is only part of the explanation. To understand the second principle behind liberalism, you need to know the difference between envy and jealousy. Jealousy can be said to be a desire for another person's property. A young man can see another man driving a nice car and think he would like a car like that. Or see another man dating a beautiful woman and think he would like a beautiful woman like that. Now, even losers could work an extra shift, do some overtime hours, cut personal expenses, and buy a nice car too. Even a loser could cut down on his caloric intake and do a little exercise, and with his shiny new car, he could also date a nice-looking girl. For most of the last few hundred years, the 80% losers were not too resentful because they could, if they wanted it badly enough, have the same material things the 20% had. But envy is, without a doubt, the worst of the 7 deadly sins. Envy could be said to be a desire for another person's qualities. These are qualities losers can never have. A person with a 90 IQ can never develop an IQ of 130. A short person can never become tall. A fat and ugly old woman can never become a beautiful maiden. What makes envy so deadly is the tendency of the envious to destroy what they can't be. The man who is envious of another's car will go at night and slash the tires, key the paint job, and smash the lights. A man envious of a beautiful woman will throw acid in her face so no one can enjoy her beauty. Those who are envious of another's proud and noble history will tear down their statues, paint over their murals, and burn their history books. The third principle behind liberalism is a group of psychopaths who have studied human psychology for thousands of years. They go by many different names. Today, we know them as Bolshevists, communists, and socialists. This group of psychopaths have always envied and hated the 20% and have sought to destroy the achievements that they could never aspire to. Because of their knowledge of psychology, they know the easiest way to destroy a civilization is to weaponize the losers. It is childishly simple to do this. They appeal to the losers' innate tendencies to jealousy and envy. They tell the losers, why should you do an extra shift to buy a car? After all, that's more work. Easier would be to have the government just take the car from the guy who earned it and give it to the loser. They tell the fat and ugly women, why bother eating less and bathing more when they can just demonize the beautiful women and handsome men that want nothing to do with them and get them fired and ostracized from society. That way, they'll only be surrounded by fat, ugly people, and there won't be any good-looking people around to trigger their envy. And on it goes. The psychopaths tell the losers they're victims, And if they hand all power to the state, the government will rob at gunpoint all the wealth of the 20% and redistribute it to the losers. Of course, this never happens. Whatever the government robs goes straight into the pockets of the psychopaths, who in turn blame the 20%, which in turn fuels the rage and hatred of the losers until they completely lose their minds and burn it all down and murder the 20%. This is how civilizations die. So this then is liberalism, a cult for losers who have been inflamed to psychotic levels of envy and hatred by a group of professional psychopaths for the purpose of destroying everything good or innocent or beautiful or holy.